everybody. It's Sunday the 10th of December in 2017 and it's been a really chilly day. I'm down in Kirkcaldy in Fife and just up beside me is Ravenscraig Castle. So if you know the area you'll know that I'm down in the foreshore. This morning we were up in the hills in Falkland Estate with my running club, and as we gathered at 9:30 this morning, some of the people were saying that the temperature was -9 degrees Celsius, which I'm not sure about Fahrenheit, but I would imagine it's somewhere into the 20s, so pretty cold. I can feel it cold now because I'm standing here doing nothing, but when you're actually out there running, it's not so bad. Today it was a bit peculiar because running into the wind, the whole of my front was cold and the whole of my back was really hot with sweat. So I thought it might be interesting to take a look at the gear that I wear when it is really cold like this. I tend to wear shorts and just ordinary stuff down to about maybe 10 degrees Celsius. Once it gets down pretty well into the single figures, maybe about 7, somewhere about that, then I'll go to long legs and long arms. And as it gets colder, then put more layers on. Of course, the principle is that if you have layers, then it traps air, and therefore it gives you a bit of insulation. I think the biggest rule is to get stuff which is wicking fabric, so it wicks the moisture away from your skin. That tends to be, simply polyester. So anything that's polyester will take the moisture away from your skin and help to keep you dry. Okay, so I've laid out all my gear here on the bonnet of my car, and I thought the best thing to do is to start at the bottom and work my way up to the top. So the socks that I wear, I know a lot of people like ankle socks and so on. I like the ones that come up my leg. I like the ones that have double soles. I think these are polyester. There's actually nothing that says what the material is. It's the same socks that I wear all year round. The double soles I think help to avoid blisters, but it does give you an extra little bit of insulation I think in the winter time. So, socks. Leggings. I use leggings underneath my main running tights. Again, all polyester. I find it doesn't really matter which make that you have, they're all pretty much the same. I think the thing to look at when you're buying them is what additional protection you've got. So a lot of trousers will give you extra insulation in the crotch area. These ones I really like because they've got a lot of extra insulation on your knee, as your knee is going through the wind, and there's not an awful lot of natural insulation underneath your skin. It's not a fat area, so I find this is really good. It's also got a bit of extra layering behind your knee as well. Yeah, so I like to tuck my upper layer inside this, but I'll come to that when I'm talking about the top end. So, tights, pants, call them what you will. Again, doesn't really matter what kind you wear. My eternal grievance with every make is that the little pocket you get is really hopeless. You can get your car keys in, and that's about it. Again, polyester wicking fabric, not much more really to say about this. It's really the layers that makes the difference, I think. Okay, turning to the top end. Base layers, I've got two different kinds of base layers. So this one here is a thinner fabric, but it's got long arms. So this is good. I ran with this one this morning. So as I say, kind of well below zero, and I was toasty warm with this. I do have a second one. So again, everything you see today is polyester for wicking. I do have another one which is a thicker material, and I would wear this as a second base layer or a primary base layer, maybe if it's maybe 3 to 5, 3 to 7 degrees, something like that, where I'm not so worried about my arms. So this is relatively thick material compared to the long-sleeved one that I showed you. What I like about this one is it has an extra panel in the back, so if necessary I could wear this under the thinner long-sleeved one. This will keep a lot of the sweat away from your back, and it's also got the same panels underneath your armpits. Nothing much on the front really, although there is a bit of a design. I find it's the back that really is the critical thing here. Moving to the top layer, trying to keep nice and cosy. What I have on just now, well, I've got 3 layers on just now. I've actually got a long-sleeved top. It's just light material. I'm using that as a base layer just now. Then I've got a thicker top, and then this is actually a cycling jacket. A cycling jacket that's shell material, which is windproof and really nice. It's nice and tight on my body. It's actually probably a size smaller than you would normally buy, but it keeps everything nice and snug. Okay, so over top of the base layer, this is what I would normally wear. It's very similar to what I just showed, and again it's 100% polyester. It's long sleeved, but it's a thick material, which really keeps you cosy. It's kind of fleecy inside as well, and I think the fleecy nature of it is quite important, because that is also going to trap the air and help you. It's got a nice hot neck, a nice high neck. Now, high neck I think is particularly useful. Some people like to wear a buff, or a snood, I think they call it, and they can wear it round about your neck, which is good, or you can pull it up over your head if that's what you want. Some of my colleagues were doing that this morning. What I find is that my face gets really cold. I mentioned this in the video that I made of my run along the coastal path from St Andrews to King's Barnes yesterday. At the end of that, I couldn't really speak because my lower lip, it was so cold it just wouldn't move. So if you had a buff to bring up over, then that would certainly help keep your face warm. The downside is that because you're breathing in and out, you're breathing out moisture, and it gets wet, and wet and cold creates problems of its own. So I prefer, if I'm wearing a buff, I'll just wear it up round my neck. But all of these things will do exactly the same job. So high neck keeps the wind out, stops it going down, and keeps you nice and cosy. Do I wear a jacket? Well, you can see I've got the cycling top on just now. This is my second choice. This one here is my first choice, and you'll have seen this in some of my videos. This, again, wicking, 100% polyester. What I like about this one is it's nice and light, but nonetheless it actually has 3 layers. So on the front it's got 2 layers, but on the back, where you're going to be sweating all the time, it's got 3 layers. So it's kind of got polyester inner material, then it's got a thicker liner to absorb the sweat, and then it's got the thinner outside material again. Now this here wasn't expensive at all. It was bought from Aldi's, which is one of the big supermarket chains in the UK and across Europe. You don't get them very often, but if you look out for them, their running stuff is pretty good. The arms are just single layer, This part on here is just reflective material for if you're running at night, but the key thing is because it's not shell material, it does breathe much better than this one does. This one does get rid of the moisture, but it's not as efficient at getting rid of it as this polyester. The shell material isn't quite as good at that. So that's my choice here. A triple layer polyester, light, comfortable, moves with you as you're running, doesn't get in the way. That just leaves the extremities really. I've got two hats that I wear. I've got my faithful old beanie, which, oh gosh, I don't know, probably had this for 4 years coming up for. First thing I ever bought with the Falkland Trail Runners name on it. In fact, it still says Psycho Squirrels. The Falkland Trail Runners like to know that they refer to themselves as the Psycho Squirrels. Fine for low temperatures, but not necessarily sub-zero. For that, I've got the archetypal thicker hat. I don't know what you would call that. I'll duck down and let you see it. Oh, there we go. So it's nice and thick. Is it 2 layers? I think it's, yeah, it's 2 layers. And what is it made out of? It just says acrylic. Don't know. So it's nice and cosy. The thing I don't like about this is that it slips about in your head, so you're always having to slide it back up because it drops down over your eyes or towards your eyes, and it holds moisture. So when you get back from a run, it's quite, yeah, it has to go on the radiator to get it dried out. But no big deal. So in fact, because it's so cold and the sun's now going down, it's going to get colder still. I'll just put that one back on. Hands, essential to keep your hands cozy. To me, that's the worst bit about cold weather, is your hands getting really, really cold. I've got 3 main sets of gloves that I wear. These ones are Saucony. First pair of running gloves that I ever bought, and I guess I bought them because I like the look of them, and because I wear Saucony trail shoes. They're nice, but they're not warm, so in cold weather, no good. These, oh, just dropped one. These ones here are similar. The kind of gloves that you would use in running. They are a thicker material, so I'm quite happy to wear these down to freezing, 1 or 2 degrees above freezing. Absolutely fine. But when it gets as cold as it is today, then it has to be the Thinsulate. I can wear, because these conform to your skin, it's fine and easy to wear the 2 layers. So today I went out just with the Thinsulate. In fact, yesterday when I was doing the coastal path, I just had my Thinsulate. And when I got to the end of the run, went into the tea shop, my hands were still so cold that I was putting them on the teapot. I had this hat over the teapot, so it wasn't absolutely boiling. But I was having to use that to warm my hands up. They were so cold. So if I had thought yesterday, I would have had 1 layer on, then the Thinsulate on top of that. But normally 1 layer is fine. Today has been exceptionally cold, and my Thinsulate just didn't cope with it very well this morning. So that's it. That's what I wear when I'm running in sub-zero conditions. I hope you find that useful. I haven't mentioned any brands at all other than the Aldi supermarket chain. I know that if you're a brand person, that you can look for running gear. For example, there's I think a really highly recommended Salomon top for keeping you warm and cosy and dry which I think I looked at getting one of those, but it was somewhere about £120. Now, £120 isn't a massive amount of money, but if I can find something in Aldi's that does what I need it to do for kind of a tenth of that price, then that's good enough for me. It's as always a case of what is it that you need, what is it you want the thing to do, and check to make sure it will actually do that. And if it does, then I really don't see that price is a material thing, or brand is a material thing. Does it do what I want it to do? If it does, then that's great. Good, okay, so hope that was useful, and we'll see you the next time. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to make sure you get notifications of all new content.